how did you come up with the idea with mapmaking.app?
I think I actually don't like fully remember, but I think I mean I know I got a little bit annoyed with doing doing Bangladesh for ACW
Mm-hmm.
in the official map maker. And I think I had like 2 or 3 things that I wanted to change or have differently. So really kind of the number one motivating thing was to have tagging.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time I was thinking of tagging as like, oh, you tag things with urban and rural, and that's how we can know as people working on ACW kind of what the distributions are in the countries that people are working on. And around that time I also like kind of stumbled into a programming library that would let you draw a lot of markers very quickly,
Mm-hmm.
which is another problem with the GeoGuessr map maker. If you have a few thousand locations, it becomes very slow. And this library, can do hundreds of thousands, and it remains very fast.
Yep.
So I think that's often I have a lot of programming projects, and often they are like this kind of this looks like an interesting problem to tinker with for a library to try out, and then I find some place to use it. Yeah.
Does that? I don't know if it's a bit too close, but does it cost a lot to run?
So actually, the Google Maps API is the thing that costs quite a bit of money. I got some support from GeoGuessr to host it. Right now, that doesn't cover everything. So we'll see. I have been considering like maybe doing like a Patreon or something.
That was literally my next question was going to be, would you accept like sort of crowdfunding from people that would use it and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think, that might be on the cards eventually. I've been thinking about that for a long time, and it's never like that urgent because, I'm not, I have like a pretty good job, and I'm not like spending that much money on keeping it up myself. So it's like I can handle it. But it is something that like I imagine like if I think of like, oh, I'm gonna keep it up for another 5 years, then at some point it would be nice to at least break even. But I don't know, like that's still kind of like maybe at some point in the future. People have asked me quite often if they can donate, and for now the answer is like no. You can't.
No. Okay. But it's interesting because that's always been a thought. It was like, obviously I've known how expensive it is to run websites and run things, but I personally completely forgot about the Google API, which is the most expensive, but I didn't know GeoGuessr had even helped with that. But considering it's mainly used probably for them and their game, like it's a good thing that they're doing that.
Yeah, and I think even GeoGuessr employees use it to make like official maps sometimes. I don't know if they all do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any? Sorry. Do you have any input on the in-game map making in terms of stuff? Do they ask you about stuff that you've implemented to try and implement in theirs, or?
Not really. They have, at various points, like reached out to kind of map makers in general, and also to me about they could improve. But I think, usually that is kind of, they would have a time of like reaching out a lot and being like, oh, like what are all the things we can do, and then they would have a lot of ideas, and then it would end up on the back burner anyways. Again, like I'm not too, it can be a little bit frustrating as a community member, but now that I work in like a real company, I'm like, okay, like that's kind of how it happens, so I can't be too there's always like way too many things on the list of what you're supposed to do, and there's a lot of different pressures. So yeah, I wish I would be quite happy if they made the in-game one better, and so people didn't need to like go and look for alternative options.
Speaking of, we recently had to use the in-game one. We were running a British Isles tournament, and map making app seemed to go down for a period of time while somebody was in, I think, Romania at the time. I thought about sending so many things in the server, but I refrained and we used the map maker. It was fine. We managed to get it done. Rowan, I think, was the main map maker on that. But is it still purely just you that runs the website? So like if you're away on holiday or something, career or wherever you go these days, well, you go every year, I think. But is there a possibility of somebody else coming along onto it as well, or somebody that you can sort of implement for if you're away, or do you just let people just go, you know what, deal with it, and I'll figure it out when I get home?
Yeah, I have a few thoughts on this, because on the one hand, I want it to be like kind of a semi professional, like kind of reliable thing. I do kind of want that. I'm not currently that interested in kind of sharing control of it. Like it is a little bit my baby, and wanna kind of do whatever I want with it. And I think there is an aspect of like websites used to go down all the time.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of a modern internet kind of big tech thing that websites don't go down all the time. And I don't know, like there is some, I find it a little bit appealing to think of it as like, oh, there's this little kind of handmade artisan kind of crappy corner of the internet where people are just making things because they like to and want to, and sometimes it's gonna have bugs, and sometimes it's gonna look a little ugly. It's gonna go down, and maybe it has to interact with that person's life in a way. So I don't know, like that's a kind of a romantic internet nostalgia thing, I think.
No, I get it.
Probably as a user of the app is not that nice, but for me it's like kind of okay, well, this is kind of what it is, right? Like it's my it's like my kind of for fun, like because I find it interesting and because I want it to be useful kind of project. Not it's not, I mean, it's objectively just not that professional.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I did touch on sort of you going away to Korea and that. You are known, obviously, in GeoGuessr for a lot of things, but in terms of whenever Korea comes up, beautiful location is mentioned. You've been recently, well, semi-recently. What are your thoughts on people going to Korea? Do you think everyone should do it once in their life? Do you think it's a destination that people sort of overlook at times?
I'm actually not sure. I mean, I don't know if there is something like as of like oh, you have to go to X place once in your life. I think people should go to places that they find interesting.
Okay.
And Kodiak once said like, "Oh, why would you go to Korea when Japan is right there and it has like everything but more interesting?" And like, well, maybe like the mountains are more spectacular. That's probably true. Like the cities are bigger, denser, whatever. Like everything is more. that's fine. But you could just be interested in place, and you can kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And like, there's no, you don't need to have a justification for being into one particular place or not being into any place and just playing GeoGuessr a lot and not going on vacations. Like, I really like, the first time I went to Korea was last year. I had a really like kind of fun time just walking around Seoul and being like,
And you
felt
solo
all really
travel,
familiar.
Yeah, you solo travel, don't you?
Yeah. It was really, it was interesting to be like in a place that I had never been before. That's very different from, anywhere else I'd been. It still feels so familiar, and probably part of that was because I've made it so much in GeoGuessr, and there were like actually like a lot of places I recognized, and then sometimes I would walk somewhere and be like, oh, this seems familiar, and it would be because it came up in GeoGuessr before. I had a really great time there. I think a lot of people could have a really great time there if you like big cities and kind of convenience, and stuff that works. I think that's a big thing right now, I guess. In probably in China, Japan, Korea, I think it's all like that. They have a lot of like kind of new infrastructure that all like kind of functions well.
So not Deutsche
maybe in
Bahn is what
20
you're
years
saying.
it will be different. Oh yeah, Deutsche Bahn functions for some. It gets you where you want to go if you don't want to arrive too late.
Yeah, fair enough.
If you plan to arrive at 3 p.m., then you will get there on that day probably.
Quick before we move on to sort of Deutsche Bahn and that, did your interest for Korea come before GeoGuessr, or was that sort of a post sort of GeoGuessr?
No, I think it was already before. I was into like kind of Korean music. I don't really remember how I got into that, but there was a website called Plug DJ where you would it was kind of a collaborative listening kind of thing. Where people essentially you would show each other YouTube videos, but it was meant for music. I was very active in like kind of the K-pop, which eventually became more of like a Korean underground / indie music kind of group there. So that is, I don't know, like since then I've been kind of interested in it also because I was like learning to read Hangul so that I could like know what bands I was listening to because they would only have like Korean pages. So yeah.
And then going back to sort of Deutsche Bahn, the World Championship this year will be in Berlin. Have you heard about the Dutch like Amsterdam to Berlin train ride that people are trying to organise potentially for all Dutch people to sort of jump on the same train and travel down to Berlin?
I actually had not. I'm not that active in the Dutch GeoGuessr community, or like not that active. I'm not in there at all, to be fair.
I've only heard of this because Diallo came on a couple of weeks ago. I say at this point it's probably a month or so ago, and he was telling me afterwards that he'd forgotten to mention this. But yeah, there's a potential plan for or I guess people who aren't Dutch, if they want to go to Amsterdam first and then hop on a train with everyone to go to Berlin together. So, do you think that's going to run on time? Maybe is the question I should be asking here.
Oh, I mean, I think that's like a 6-hour trip. It should be, but it's only one train, so often it would be like okay. Like I don't know about on time, but it should be okay.
Yeah. You should get to your destination.
You should get there. Yeah, like because the thing is, it's always the long distance trains that are a problem. So in that sense, Amsterdam to Berlin might be a problem. But it's especially like if you have a long distance train and a connection, that's that's where you have like a 50-50 chance of making it. It doesn't matter how long the connection is. If you have a half-hour connection, like you probably have a 50-50 chance of making it. So if there's no connections, then generally, like, okay, you might be a bit late, but you'll be fine.
Well, I'll think
it's a nice bonding experience to be on a train with a bunch of people and be like, okay, we're in the middle of nowhere, standing still, and nobody knows why. And there's like announcements in German, and they're telling you that like it's the fault of another train, definitely, and not us. You know, like.
But is that train? Do you know if that's run by Deutsche Bahn or is that Dutch?
Yeah, I think it's an ICE.
Okay.
I think it's an Deutsche Bahn ICE.
Good luck then to everyone getting on that, I guess. I think I'll go direct. I won't stop off in Amsterdam this time. But moving on to, you are the third person who appeared in the Women in GeoGuessr video that I did. I put out probably about a year ago now. What were your thoughts on sort of the reactions to that video? Obviously, it just happened to come out at the same time as other things were sort of kicking off around that same sort of topic. Have you seen any sort of? Have you had any reactions to it when you went to the World Championship? Did anyone come up to talk to you about certain things like that? Because Nadia said that sort of happened to her.
I don't really remember having like reactions to it directed like to me personally. I mean, of course, I saw that it made somewhat of a splash in the community as a whole, with a lot of people being quite cool. So I mean, that's I think I've mentioned it in that video that like in GeoGuessr community, I feel that it's quite largely in a few pockets that I don't interact with, so it doesn't really affect me. Very kind of nice place to be. I think in the last year plus, I have been, I don't know, like not really intentionally, but I have kind of, retreated into a few Discords. So I'm not as public as I was in like 2023. So I think maybe it's part of why I haven't really gotten responses to it. Also at the World Championship, I was very much just like kind of in a small bubble. But yeah, I'm not sure what else to say, to be honest.
Because
I don't know if there's been like changes since then, and I'm also not really sure what kind of changes I would want to see. So yeah.
I just thought, considering I'd heard from Nadia saying that other people, I just wanted to ask your thoughts on that. But I know this year you also, obviously outside the main circuit, because it's a bit more sort of closed, and see there's been qualifiers recently, and you've played in, I think, the LyttleChat Ladies Tournament. The Rainbow Classics that have been going since then. Do you think those are sort of positives for improving sort of what that previous video had been based on, and how that sort of, do you think they will continue to improve sort of the community?
Yeah, actually, that is something that I guess has changed a bit. Although the Rainbow Classic was also like really in response to the
Qatar.
The
Riyadh, wasn't it? Not
yeah,
Qatar.
the esports World Cup. It's some of the scariest scare quotes you can imagine. Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know if I'm like kind of active enough in like the broader community now to feel if there is a kind of a vibe shift or anything as a result of that. But I do think it's um, for many people nice to kind of have that um, space to interact with like the competitive side of GeoGuessr. I think right now the whole competitive side is a lot more closed off than before.
Yeah.
So it is a bit. It's I think very kind of good that we have those things right now, because in the past there were a lot of open tournaments and right now there isn't. So it's harder, like as especially as someone, um, you know, uh, women and queer people have usually reasons for not interacting so much in gaming communities because
Yeah.
they had like they tried when they were 12 years old and got like nasty responses, and since then they're like, why would I put myself through this? So I think yeah, it's kind of timely for while the main circuit is a lot more closed off and there's not as much kind of open. A lot of stuff is invitational, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. Like
Yeah.
that's
No.
not a very developed thought, but yeah, it's yeah.
But no, it's you obviously said too involved in the main sort of circuit, main big part of the community. I'd say sort of a bit more niche communities. So I guess it wouldn't affect you. I'm not entirely sure myself, considering I've sort of pulled back in the last few months a little bit. Sort of just I've done that before though. I've dropped out of GeoGuessr for 3 or 4 or 5 months and then gone back into it.
Right.
So I think it would be quite interesting to see how the changes sort of within the next year or so, just to see if like Rainbow Classics is obviously still going, if other people throw up tournaments, or because we've got the nations, like the European Championship tournaments that are going on, if there's other tournaments that sort of incorporate a lot more people, or are more open to just allowing more people in rather than just the elite of the elite. But I think that's always going to be a problem, because how do you run it and not close it off a bit?
Yeah. Yeah, I have kind of I've not like intentionally pulled back from the community. That is something that I guess I want to say, but I have like just more. I guess I'm touching grass a bit more, and I have a more demanding job than a few years ago. So it's like a combination of things. Yeah, it makes me not have as much time for GeoGuessr is one, and then because I don't have as much time for it, I don't spend time like training. I can feel myself occasionally, like when I do play, I feel like I can tell that I'm not doing as well as I would like or would have done some time ago, and it makes me a little bit frustrated when I play like that. So it's kind of a cycle of like, I'm probably gonna be less and less competitive over time. Like definitely, like already right now, I'm not. I'm nowhere near a top player now, and that's it's
I
just
know that feeling.
what happens. So, but it actually, like, it took me, I think, a few months to kind of come to terms with of like, I still have a place in the community even if I'm not like playing at a high level. So right now I'm like, I feel like even if I don't play a single GeoGuessr game next year, I would still feel like kind of like it's my my community. So
yeah,
that's I don't know. That has been kind of a cool, nice realization, I guess, over this past year.
I mean, even if you didn't have map making app, which helps a lot of the community, you took part in the first World Cup. You're invited there. You were always part of the community. I'd say like there's no
Yeah.
like you wouldn't have any of the history of the community, or you couldn't go through it without you being part of it. So I think you'd always be part of it, regardless if you drop out for a year or two and come back. But I know lots of people in other sports, esports, and things like that. They don't partake in whatever for years and then come back and everyone still feels the same way about them, sort of thing. So I don't think you've got anything to worry about in that sense. It's just
Yeah.
I just think it's you're a very cool person. So moving on from that quickly, I've complimented you too much. Where is one place you would like the GeoGuessr World Championship to be held?
Ooh. I don't know. Like, I think actually, if you had asked me like earlier this year, I probably would have said like, let's do like Amsterdam or Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, as someone who goes to Amsterdam regularly, I think Berlin is a bit more interesting. But someone who goes to Berlin often might think differently. I don't know where else they should. I would. I mean, I'm very biased. I would like it to be in Europe so I can go by train. That's all. That's just me. Of course, like people who are not in Europe cannot go by train. So for them, it's a little unfortunate if the World Championship is always in Europe. I don't know if I have like other things really on my list. I think it will be cool to go to like a slightly more unusual place. I don't know what the venues are like Skopje or something.
Is it North Macedonia? No, it was
Yeah.
Kosovo that was recently sort of like trying to, I think, build their esports out. I think, and like obviously like Poland has quite a few events in other esports as well, so that could be
Yeah.
I just despite being from the UK, I just don't. I'm like just put it somewhere else. I want to go somewhere and be like enjoy that culture rather than like maybe spend more money staying at home, basically.
Yeah.
I know. And is there any place you want to visit in the next year? Like, obviously, you've been to Korea, I think, 2 years in a row. Is there any other places that you're looking at for the next year?
Honestly, I guess not. I haven't really thought about what I'm gonna get up to next year. Yeah, I don't know if I have. I mean, I might go just to go to Korea again because there's still, like I have a lot of things that I want to see there, and I've had two like very different trips already, and I would like to see like there's, I don't know, like every time you go somewhere it can be very different.
Yeah.
I really like kind of a connection to like the music venues there. I go to a lot of gigs. I think this year I'm gonna be at like I'll have like 30, more than 30 gigs in 2025. So I don't know, like, and as a bit of a fan of Korean underground music, I'm often like looking at Instagram at like the pages of venues that I follow and being, like that Squidward SpongeBob meme of like, oh,
yes,
there are all these cool bands playing in flipping Shindoshi, which is a really sick venue.
Okay. Where is
and Shindoshi is in Seoul. It's actually very central, but it's a very like kind of punk DIY venue. It's on like the third, fourth, and fifth floor of like a 5-story building.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, I mean, there's I just really like it, and the 2 times I've been, I've tried to go to go see a bunch of music as well. Um, yeah. So I might just do that again. I don't know. I don't have any other ideas really for what I want to do with my life. So,
I mean, but you stopped off in China the last time.
Yeah, that's true.
Was that good? Or would you think about doing like a stop off in a different country on the way back from sort of Korea or something like that? Or was that just for flight connections?
No, like I mean, I did the connection that way because once I saw like, oh, like that's something that's kind of easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I do really want to see China. To be fair, and I guess I would like to especially see Chongqing in China, like the big, massive mountainous city.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be really cool. But I mean, probably not next year. I don't know, like at some point.
Yeah.
I spent like 1 day in Beijing on my layover there, and it was a little, I don't know, like just fact of being so mid travel.
Mm-hmm.
I was just a bit tired the entire time, so it wasn't like didn't make the most of it, because of that. So I don't know. It was like very kind of cool to see like all the electric vehicles and like see like the taxis that I've seen on 10-cent Street View. Like that part was cool. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna do like a 2-week Beijing vacation, but maybe at some point soon.
Well, thank you very much. If you've got anything else you want to say, promote, talk about, now's the time.
I'll look out for Dallin's next, maybe after next tension episode. Apparently, I'm still, I'm still in the community enough to be allowed on things like that.
And things like this.
And things like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, this is a bigger deal than Dallin to me.
I'll let him know.
Don't tell him.
No. I'm. That's the first thing I'm doing once we get off here. But no, thank you very much, and hope everyone goes and follows you for your coding streams.
Who knows?
Who knows?
There will be coding streams for a few more days. I don't know what happens after that.
Well, we'll find out next year. All right. Thank you.